Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of The Weekend Warrior. This is a grumpy old guy gaming, and if you haven't figured it out, it might be new to you, but it's been a fairly poorly kept secret within my social circle and those I game with in general. Kind of a sword guy. I do enjoy the weapons built strictly for slashing, stabbing, or, the general poking of doom. And that is a sword to a T. First character was a Blademaster with good reason. It is my main character, and showcasing my main character was the original intent of the Weekend Warrior. While I've been more than happy to branch out and show different characters and different aspects of the game, even being able to sneak the offline story into the Weekend Warrior, it is at its heart a chance for me to play my Blademaster and sort of show it off. So here we're going to do a little old-fashioned sword tour. Without further ado, let's start with this bad boy in my character's right hand as we speak. The salad fork you all know you want, the Chaos Sword. Pulling up the Chaos Sword specifics, it's a level 99 rare. It's got a large attack boost, 36. It's adding to your physical attack and 20 to your physical accuracy. See a negative 15 there in the evasion, and I'll be honest, it hasn't affected my character at all. I was running this well into the level 80s when I acquired it, and even with that negative 15, my physical evasion stat was still at 99. If you somehow run into this sword at a lower level, or if it's gifted to you, I could see that evasion being a bit of a detriment, but in all honesty, as hard as this sword hits, taking a bit of punishment back shouldn't be too big a deal, because whatever you're going to hit, you're going to finish. If you have to switch it up on the magical side, it actually helps you out rather well there with a plus 8 to your magical attack and plus 15 to your magical accuracy. Flat plus 9s to your elemental boosts, which is a really nice thing because you have 3 different elemental attacks on this. Gan Spiral, Vax Spiral, and Anade Spiral, all multi-target, multi-hit attacks in Earth, Fire, and Darkness elements respectively. As per typical, it gives you access to awakenings. Most every piece of equipment past the very, very low level ones will. And this also has Critical Strike as a bonus effect. So in addition for hitting for a ton out of the gate, you have the potential to double up the damage. Next sword in our list here is going to be the 7th Seal. Taking a look at the 7th Seal, it's got a very nice classic sort of sword look. You'll actually see this model used a few times throughout the collection. Got sort of a copperish, brownish, rusty color, more towards the guard, coming out to a nice shiny silver. Looking at the stats, it's got a plus 27 to physical attack, plus 12 physical accuracy. No real downsides anywhere on this sword, just a good solid weapon. Boasting plus 3s to your magical attack and accuracy, and plus 5 to your elemental boosts through the board. Rue Crack and Gan Revolver are your 2 attacks on this, so that's 2 different elements, water and earth. Both are multi-target. Rue Crack is the one where you jump way up in the air and come down with a single devastating strike. It's either hit or miss with it, but if you hit and hit an elemental damage, you're talking massive damage for one strike. Gan Revolver, more consistent and very, very effective, similar to the spiral attacks we saw in the Chaos Sword. Also worth noting that along with the typical Awakening access, this gives you access to Deck Torv, which is a fantastic support spell for a Blademaster and really for a dot hack fragment character. most classes are going to be hitting physically when they potentially can. Wavemaster is your sole magic preferred class, and there are a couple of classes that can cast effectively as well as strike in melee. Blademaster is primarily a physical class, though they're no slouch if they have to cast. For situations where you have physical tolerance completely on a monster, having Deck Torb on a piece of equipment is huge because you don't run out of consumables if you have to sit there and rely on Knight's Banes. Moving on to the next weapon in the list. Going to go to Fair Soul. This one actually has a bit of sentimental value. If you go all the way back to episode 1 of The Weekend Warrior, you're going to see that very sword on this very Blademaster at a much lower level. Taking a look at the stats here. Plus 28 to physical attack and plus 11 to accuracy. Getting a plus 3 to your magical attack and plus 4 to magical accuracy there. This is an earth sword, make no mistake about it. Its 3 abilities are all tied to the earth element. Got Gan Slash, which is going to hit a single target twice. Gigan Crack, which again is a jump high in the air, single hit but multi-target and has the potential for massive damage, and Deck Gans that will lower opponents' earth elements. It's gonna sap your wood element a little, no pun intended with a -5 there. To compensate for it, you get a plus 15 to earth element. 1s for water, fire, thunder, and darkness. Fairly decent sword. Picked it up relatively low level and just rode it for as long as I could. It was a solid sword and it brought me a lot of success early on. Moving to the next sword in our list. We have the Skysweeper. Kind of a funky looking sword. One I believe Emu's picked up. Really do like the model there. Got it in some decent light. Let's go ahead, take a look at the Skysweeper. An impressive 31 point boost to your physical attack and 14 to accuracy. This sword really helpful on the magical end of things all around, giving you a plus 7 in attack, a plus 8 in accuracy, and plus 3s in magical defense and magical evasion. So you can almost call this the thinking man's blade in a sense, as it's helping you out on the magical side for predominantly physical class. It is a darkness element sword, so you're going to get a plus 20 to your darkness elemental boost and a minus 5 to your thunder element. Flat 3s across earth, water, fire, and wood. Your 3 non-awakening abilities also tied to the darkness element. Gianni Slash, which is 2 hits to a single target. Gianni Crack, which is a massive single strike across multiple nearby targets. And Anid Spiral, which gives you that multi-hit attack as well. So a nice range of abilities, albeit confined to the darkness element. Also gives you the critical strike ability. So a very solid higher end weapon here. As this weapon, I believe, checks in at, yes, level 85. We've got Evil Eyes. One of the ones I probably used rather predominantly throughout. Let's go ahead and get it into some neutral light here. Recognize the sword straight away if you're familiar with the Weekend Warrior series. Very similar to the 7th Seal sword. Instead of that brownish copper sort of look towards the guard, you've got this dark swirl. It's almost a marbled finish to the blade. You've got a neat little vortex there about a third of the way up. Probably one of the coolest things about the blade is its design, but the stats are no slouch either. Plus 33 to physical attack, 15 added to your physical accuracy, a solid 7 magical attack boost with an 11-point accuracy buff. Getting flat 8s across the board as far as your elemental stats go, no argument there. 2 physical attacks in Gianni Slash and Gigan Slash. So if there is one negative thing to this sword, it is a very single target weapon, but it can hit Earth Element or Darkness, and has Deck Vorv added to it, which again is only a benefit against physically tolerant creatures. Big selling point for this sword, level 87 weapon with Death Touch. You can drop a creature with thousands of hit points higher than you down to critical range in one strike, and I cannot express enough just how insane the Death Touch ability can be when you're up at higher levels. I almost preferred running Evil Eyes against things like Psyche Visions and that line of monsters. The Aurora Feather, the Rainbow Tail, and the Psyche Vision, despite massive boosts to their physical defense and physical evasion. Just the fact that I could hit that home run shot and take them down to critical where one McGann ROM could finish them off was huge to me and definitely worth that shot. Moving from Evil Eyes to the next sword in our list, got Jormungand. Yet another sword with a similar look. Got a very classic look to it, a solid silver build the entire way. Got some etching there along the middle of the blade. Kind of cool to look at, those little symbols. They go about halfway up. Taking a look at the stats, this is a sword that drops in a lot of higher level farming dungeons and is fairly common in guild shops. You could see it there, level 91 Blademaster weapon. 34 is going to be your physical attack boost and 14 is your accuracy buff. 7 points are added to your magical attack and 12 points to your accuracy. Getting 9 points across the board on elemental buffs, and that is never a bad thing. Once again, looking at 2 different elements on the attack, and once again those elements are going to be earth and water because those are your favorite elements as a Blademaster. Have Gigan Slash and Jiru Crack, so single target earth, multi-target water. Deck Vorma to appease the Wave Masters in your party, which can be just as effective, if not more so, than Deck Vorv. While Deck Vorv helps you hit enemies, Deck Vorma allows you to sit there and sort of tank against magic-tolerant enemies, and opens up the magical defense if it hits, allowing your Wave Master to come in for massive, massive damage against an enemy it couldn't normally hit. Critical Strike is the bonus effect on this one, and any chance you have to double your pleasure, double your fun, and double the depth of the wound on an enemy, you take it. Solid weapon all around, and like I said, a very accessible late game weapon. Next weapon up is another weapon that drops quite frequently in farming dungeons, and another late game all-star. Eternity. Beautiful sort of rapier build. Coming into the light here, sort of a goldish tint to it. You can see it there with sort of a hand guard bending down over. kind of feels like they wanted to do a knuckle bow there between. Yeah, it really looks like they wanted to do that and just weren't able to finish the design. Still very nice with the basket guard and the thinner blade. Taking a look at the stats, you're all the way up to level 94 on the weapon and a big old 35 in the physical attack boost. Second highest boost I've got here, only 1 point shy of the Chaos Sword, and when you are 1 point shy of at level 99 rare, you're in good company. 16 points are the boosts to your physical accuracy, and you're getting a solid 8 and 15 points respectively in magical attack and accuracy. Keeping with the theme of our level 90 tier weapons, you're getting 9 points, or 1 for every 10 levels, in your elemental buffs. Also keeping true to theme, you're getting a water attack and an earth attack, but they're reversed from the last time out. Now your single target slash attack is G-Ru / water element, and you're getting an earth attack in Gigan Crack. Really nice against Wood Maidens. Deck Vorma has been swapped out from Jormungand for Deck Vorv, and the critical strike that Jormungand enjoys is replaced by a bonus effect that, depending on your build, could be more beneficial in the long run in Spirit Drain. If you are a skill-heavy Blademaster, you don't like to do the basic attack, you like to use the skills, or if you're in an area where one of your skills is hitting for massive elemental damage hits, the Spirit Drain on what regular strikes you do take could be an extra added advantage where you don't have to sit there and constantly chug Mage's or Artisan Soul after soul after soul. Once again, giving you access to a few awakenings here, as they all typically do. Next sword in the list. Probably one of my favorites to say in general, it's sword! Yes, you automatically have to say it like that because it's in all caps. Not only is it in all caps, but it's probably the coolest weapon model of any sword in the game. You've got this frozen chunk of ice. It literally looks like it's hewn out of ice. Sort of a jagged look to it, almost like a stretched out number 3. Thanks to the blue aura that accompanies it, as a rare weapon, all of the weapons have sort of a aura that tails it as you run, but that aura is sort of strung across the fork in the sword as though it was some sort of evil single-stringed instrument. Checking out the stats, it is very much a water element blade, so starting off with your physical attack at plus 23 and accuracy at plus 10, getting a plus 10 in magical accuracy as well, and a solid plus 5 to your magical attack. You're getting 20 points to the better on your water element and 20 points to the worse on fire. Very balanced in value, very disparate in actual realized resistance. Solid, very good stats for a level 23 weapon, and while it's not giving you a ton of awakenings, it is giving you Mina Rushiku, which is a level 2 water awakening, Ru Crack and Ru Revolver as a pair of multi-target hit water element abilities, but where this sword really shines are the bonus effects, and yes, you heard me right, there's 2 of them. You get Spirit Drain and you get Life Drain. They will proc separately on your regular attacks, and that's really where you want to be on this one. Keep it for your fire enemies for the elemental hit, but honestly, this is a sword that is great taking out little chunks of larger opponents, banking on consistent life and spirit drains. It's a sword that can keep you going. battle to battle to battle to battle, and it's cool as hell. No pun intended. Maybe a little intended. Moving off of Sword, moving way down the list here, to the Maniac Sword. Yep, it's another Solid Fork of Doom. Also got a vortex pattern similar to Evil Eyes, but a model very similar to Chaos Sword. I honestly thought the coolest thing about Chaos Sword was the little flame gradient they did. As far as the Maniac Sword goes, and I really want to highlight this, so... Oh, that's perfect lighting there. Let's back out just the tiniest bit. There you go. You see the little... They almost look like drill bits on each side moving up the blade. And then you've got the vortex pattern dead center and the two forks out. This is a gorgeous looking weapon on this character specifically because you have a very deep blue, almost a purplish blue on the water element Blademaster using the ever exciting Silver Knight model. And this weapon just sort of looks built to complement this armor. Moving into the stats, level 77 rare sword, it's giving a 33 attack and nothing else on the physical side. Magical side, it's giving you a pretty standard plus 7 to your attack and plus 10 to your accuracy. 5s across the board for elemental. You get a couple different elemental attacks in Gianni Slash and Vax Spiral. Interestingly, they're split in the skills list by deck Vorv. Normally you see the attacks 1 and 2, and then the debuff in 3. 3 awakenings to speak of, and a bonus effect of life drain. Awesome sword, great sword for farming. You could hit multiple enemies with the Vax Spiral, and the life drain helps you out in those close battles where you're thinking of popping a consumable, but you don't want to race through them. Bear's Sword. Got the most classic of looks to it. And again, it is the sword. Bear's homage weapon. Bear, of course, the character from Dot Hack Sign. And if you don't know, then you ought to know. He's kind of the dad character of that cast, and just really sort of a cool dude who's out to help people. And help people with this blade you can. Taking a look at it, level 53 rare, getting a solid 28 physical attack and 15 physical accuracy. I think for the first time throughout this list, I'm mentioning a physical defense buff. You get plus 6 to your physical defense there. Plus 4 to magical attack and plus 6 to magical accuracy aren't that sore a spot either. Only a plus 2 across the board, but with no negatives, it's better than nothing, honestly. Where this sword gets really interesting is the fact that you only get 1 elemental attack to speak of, Jian Crack. You do have access to 3 awakenings, but the sword gives you 2 debuffs you could use on enemies, Deck Vorv and Deck Vorma, to take out physical and magical defense. The perfect sword for an assisting physical character. If you ever wanted to take Blademaster and be something other than a damage-dealing glory hog, spoiler, I'm very much a damage-dealing glory hog when I play, but if you're looking to play it a bit more subtle, Bear's Sword may be the weapon for you. Also, really nice purple gem detail there, lovely amethyst sort of details on the pommel and the guard. Two more swords to go, as we've just been rattling through this list. Next one up is a sword that is sort of deceptively simple, Silver Knight's Sword. When I say deceptively simple, I mean everything from the appearance onward. If you look at it, it almost looks like a weapon that didn't get finished getting designed. It's just a block of gray. It's a Silver Knight sword for Silver Knight of the Crimson Knights. His guild's whole shtick is their color, and he's still the gray one. You'd be inclined to believe that the sword is in itself pretty bland too, and at first glance it's exactly what it looks like as a level 29 rare. It's giving you 25 physical attack and 11 physical accuracy, plus 2 to magical attack and accuracy, and plus 1 across the board elementally. It has 3 abilities it's giving you, and they're Cross Slash, Crack Beat, and Revolver. You'll notice there were no prefixes on those. Cross Slash, single target, 2 strikes. Crack Beat, jump up in the air, land down, 1 big heavy strike. Revolver, multi-target, multi-hit. Gives you access to 2 awakenings, which are multi-elemental hits, and therefore have no specific element assigned to them themselves, and that's the gimmick of this sword, and really where it shines. There is no bonus effect, but there is a subtle beauty to the fact that this is truly a non-elemental weapon. No matter what you're facing, if it's got an elemental resistance, earth tolerant, darkness tolerant, fire tolerant, you get the idea. Any one of those 6 elements, Silver Knight Sword's just going to cut right through it. You don't have to worry about 0 damage popping up. You won't get any of those sweet elemental hits, but the consistency on this weapon is awesome. And honestly, as a level 29 weapon, the stats could be a lot worse. These are really good stats. Very good balanced weapon and a lower level rare. Rather attainable and a very capable weapon in the right applications. Next weapon in the list, the Junk Sword. Your sort of gimmicked -50 quote-unquote bad rare. Let's go ahead and equip it, and we'll start on the outset. Very similar in appearance to Bear's Sword. Got this sort of dull green gem detail. I mean, even for this game, there's something lackluster there. Doesn't have its typical shine, and neither does the sword itself. In fact, it almost looks to be starting to brown and rust, right where the guard meets the base of the blade. Even the gray details are sort of subdued in this, very dulled. This is done very intentionally, as the sword, as I said, gives you -50 to your physical and magical attacks. Plus 30 on your physical and magical accuracies, though. Does nothing else for you, positive or negative statistically speaking, and lays claim to but a single skill, and that is non-elemental Crack Beat. Which technically means there are 2 non-elemental swords here, but the gimmick of this, at a high level, if you need to farm virus cores, this is a sword you want to equip because it won't hit super hard, and you'll have that chance to deal smaller bits of damage and break enemies' resistances before you kill them. It's funny to laugh at a sword that mechanically has -50s, but one of the beauties of this game is the fact that even this sword has a practical application. Details you wouldn't even think about were thought about playing. And we are on a field at an undisclosed location. I can tell you this is an area that may give me a little challenge here and there with specific monsters, but overall we should be more than safe. And the purpose of this is just to get some action shots in with each sword. See the auto attack here? More than useful enough against this Sled Dog King, hitting for solid 472s. Before I forget, let's go ahead and change the shortcuts here so I have all 3 attacks at my disposal. Vax Spiral, Anid Spiral, and Gans Spiral. Gaia Turtle. That is the Vax. That is the Vax Spiral in action. Going to go ahead here with another Vax Spiral now that physical tolerance is down, and as you can see, hitting for solid 354s. Huge damage. You saw that 1600 point critical there. Gaia Turtles, physical tolerance. Always important to have something on hand to take care of that. Of course, if you can cast, you certainly could go ahead and do that. Gonna do an Anid Spiral here to show off the difference, that cool purple wave going on there. Seventh Seal. And we're gonna go ahead and buff back up. And I think what we're gonna do is take care of a few portals around the dungeon here and then head in. I believe this is set to a 5-floor dungeon, so counting the field, we should be able to get 2 swords per level and get through this somewhat easily. Unless, of course, we keep encountering Dark Stalkers. That said, I'm not terribly worried about the Dark Stalker itself. It's just moreover the pain to hit those. We actually did fairly well there, only used a couple. For those of you who may not have been keeping track at home, we went through 20 on the little sampling of the Chaos Sword. As you can see here, we're going between Repkosai and Gan Revolver pretty amply. And you could see just consistent damage being doled out to the Dark Stalkers here. If there's any serious worry, it's our skill points due to the skill drain ability. Now that we've got them both low, Revolver seems to be the call of the day, and let's just go for... Oh, wow. The physical defense wore out just in time there. Its resistance just got back up. And we finished it off with a little Meganrom action, but no shame in that. Rare mess on a Knight's Bane here for the Gaia Turtle. Definitely want to stay clear of Gan Revolver here. Not that it wouldn't work, but this is an Earth Element creature. And as you could see anyway, it was little trouble with the Knight's Bane in effect, hitting for just shy of 800 hit points with the 7th seal. We'll get this portal and the one right by the dungeon, and then we'll head in and move to the next sword here in this Tour de Sword Weekend Warrior Special. Hit a big Repkosai for 390. See a much higher physical defense for the Dark Stalker, but we're still hitting it for solid chunks, over 200 on most every hit. Gotta be happy with those results. And an overall end result of a win in the books. Okay, our next sword after 7th Seal will be Fair Soul. Taking a look at the shortcuts here. Got Gan Slash and G-Gan Crack. It is all Earth Element here all the time, which means L2 and X It's actually going to go to a bit of an Earth Element debuff. That way, if we run into something that is Earth tolerant, we have a chance to go ahead and hit it with something other than a basic attack. First portal, not any challenge for us, just a treasure chest, and that's not why we're here. We want the combat. And there's some in the terms of a Sled Dog King. There you saw the slash attack, and there's the crack attack. Let's do the slash one more time, as it was pretty well obscured by that flame effect. Saw the two diagonal slashes, and a strong finish at 461 damage. Another Sled Dog King, and a beautiful close-up that time. You can see a pair of 358s hitting. And finish with a G-Gang crack for 615. Fair Soul, not the rarest of swords, but one that will forever sit near and dear to my heart for being Sword 1 in the Weekend Warrior series. Also, kind of fetching. Really do like the model for it. One more battle here with the Sled Dog King, and it looks like a Temple Knight? Holy Knight, okay. And we have a pair of Sled Dog Kings. Big old damage against the Holy Knight. Of course, Wood Element Monster would have taken double damage on the elemental hit, had it hit. Time to reapply Rig Beam and Rig Same, and let's go ahead and switch to our next weapon. Probably should have done that a little sooner now that I'm looking at it, because there seems to only be one portal left here on this floor. But we will move to the Skysweeper. Set up shortcuts as such. We get 3 attacks here, all Darkness Element. So Aeneid Spiral is going into the circle position, Slash is going into triangle, and L2 and X will be Gianni Crack. Let's check out the Dark Horse. Never seen this sword in action before, so this should be fun. There's the Spiral attack, the Crack attack. Both are exactly what we expected. Gianni Slash as well, but I am loving the beautiful purple trail on everything as we attack, and as you could see, make quick work of that battle. Enemies on either side of us, and they just make it too easy. Due to the fact that Skysweeper only got one battle in on the first floor, we'll give it the first combat of the second floor before moving to our next weapon. As always, reapplying buffs because, you know, safety first. Let's start this floor out on the right foot, folks. Star Eater. Big critical there. Actually forgot this weapon had critical. It sure is a good thing we're going through and doing little inactions on these, isn't it? So it makes mincemeat of the Star Eater. And that was Skysweeper. Up next, you know it, you love it. It's one of the all-time classics for this character. It's Evil Eyes. Gianni Slash already in the L2 and triangle position, no need to change that. Let's just put Gigan Slash in there at L2 and circle and get rolling. Got a few more portals out this way, hopefully a bit more battle. As you could see, we're going to be big into the diagonal slashes here, but that's not really why you use a weapon like this. Hitting for solid 513s, and there you go, out of the blue, 1446 Death Strike. Any hit could be the next to last with this weapon, and that's kind of huge. Actually went very ability-alike in my time using this as my main weapon, because it's pretty darn devastating all on its own. A base attack of 513 against the monster. We get one more Star Eater here to finish things out. Hoping for a quick Death Strike does not seem to be in the works, because death is raining down in the form of consistent damage. And that, before you know it, is our quick tour with Evil Eyes. Jormungand, big level 91. Gigan Slash already in the L2 and circle position, so they're making shortcuts darn easy for me. We just need to put Jiru Crack there in the L2 triangle slot, and to the battle we go. Yet another Star Eater, and we're not too interested in the Jiru ability, as this is completely water tolerant. Saw the slash attack work, and we're hitting big time there, over 500 and critical up over 1,000. Jormungand, a classic sword and certainly a worthy main weapon for any Blademaster. Hopefully we get one more combat here and we can go smoothly into floor 3. A couple of Temple Knights, and that's just great news for us. Saw the elemental hit completely wipe out a Holy Knight, and not for nothing, but Jiru Crack is hitting it for over 500 anyway. So we got to see the crack attack, we got to see the slash work for a brutal elemental hit kill, and we got to see some decent damage, including a critical strike. Jormungand has shown very well, and we will be moving on here at the start of the 3rd floor. Next weapon up in the list after Jormungand is Eternity. Yet another high level weapon. Gotta set both shortcuts this time. Gigan Crack, L2 and circle. L2 and triangle will be held down by Jiru Slash. If this sounds a little like the inverse of Jormungand, you are very correct. These swords I find work very well in tandem, actually. Okay, it looks like we want the side path first. Eternity makes quick work of Holy Knights as they get a chance to throw some token offense in there, as it's not a complete wash. Some Jiru Slashes finish them off in kind, but let's face it, Gigan Crack, even without an elemental hit, carried that day well over 1,000 damage to both. Here's a Star Eater, and we're just going to show off the normal damage dealing abilities. Again, 513 damage to a Star Eater on each and every slice with this precise rapier blade. Gots to love sword. Heavy into water element here, and with the number of Star Eaters we've seen, this may not work out to be the most useful choice of weapon at the moment. Here we are against a Holy Knight, and you can see it shredding pretty well. Again, this is a lower level weapon, I want to say a level 29 rare. So we're not going to be hitting for the elite damage that we were with, say, Jormungand. That said, our attack's still sky high due to overall level, and we're not hitting soft either. Got a pair of Holy Knights here. Gonna see if I can't get some skill drain or life drain going on. There you see some life drain proccing. And that's really what you're looking for out of this sword. 2 life drains and a skill drain in this portal alone. Go ahead and finish things out. Between that and the regeneration, we never saw ourselves south of 1800 hit points against 2 very effective strikers in the Holy Knights. And we are looking at the Maniac Sword, a sword that really aesthetically complements our Blademaster. Because, you know, looks count in RPGs. Vax Spiral and Gianni Slash, those are going to be our attacks of choice here. And we've still got life gain going, life steal going on the weapon. Got a Grangon here. There's our Vax Spiral. Our Gianni Slash, our 2 abilities. And now hitting solid 334s. Big life drain there, keeping us at full health. See, its Protect Break hits nice and quick, and a little extra life drain at the end. Full health as we're leaving, not a bad way to finish with an Earth Dragon. Other portal on this side is going to give us Battle with the Sled Dog King. Going to be staying well away from our Vax Spiral. But we still have the Gianni Slash as a fitting finisher, and as Ghost Fire rains down from atop, we know we're more than safe, as the Sled Dog King has been dethroned well before the spell could hit. The Bear's Sword. Not going to be using Gigan Crack here against Grangon. So this is pretty much just going to be straight attacks, but still solid 326, and really a handsome blade. You see that silver sort of tail because it is a sort of neutral element weapon, albeit with 1 elemental attack. Get a Star Eater here, and this, we could definitely start out with a Gigan Crack, hitting for a solid 631. Of course, the Show Stealer, you could sit here and debuff like crazy. Drop its magic defense, drop its physical defense, and now just about anything fighting against this is going to have a ball. You could see 698 there on the second Gigan Crack, and now we're hitting for over 550 damage. So the secret to Bear's Sword, if you can meet it out, is just tank forward, hit your debuffs, and get your party in the best possible position to take down the battle. Truly like Bear, looking out for his comrades and being a field general. I'm going to go ahead and go a little out of order here. I'm going to go with the Junk Sword first. Crack Beat is going to be our ability of, well, our only ability the weapon has. It's just going to hit incredibly soft. See, we got 20 damage coming in against this king here. Even using our Crack Beat, we got a whopping 33 in. So the goal of this weapon isn't to sit here and bits and pieces the monster to death, though you certainly could. As you can see, we're still doing consistent damage, and we're not in any worry about dying here. Get near half health, and we've got the elixirs. We're going to stay the course. There it is. And we picked up an eagle hood. Not the rarest thing ever, but not bad. Let's see. See the little doggy walking around? Yeah, we still got more than enough pop to take care of the little doggy. We're gonna make our way down the list though and grab Silver Knight's sword and finish off this tour de sword. Grab ourselves revolver, crack beat, and cross slash before heading to the next room. Pair of sled dogs. Just do a little spin to win. And try and finish this off with crack beat. One left. Let's do a little cross slash just to show off the swordsmanship a touch. First try on Knight's Bane. Happy to see that because now we can go ahead and use our abilities to our advantage. Have one enemy on either side and just let them hack away at us because we know we're hitting for consistent damage right back. Crack beat more than enough to finish off the Sled Dog King and make this a one-on-one battle with the Dark Stalker. Like our chances there, and that little bit of skill drain, not enough to phase us. Entering the fray. Final two portals. First one is once again going to treat me to more Dark Stalkers. Maybe Bear's Sword would have been the optimal choice here, as I wouldn't have to worry about my Knight's Banes wearing out. Meganrom, also an interesting choice. I could see a little aura coming off that one, so I'm assuming that the Knight's Bane took. And in fact it did. Now if I could just get the other one, there we go. Throw a little fire their way, huh? Let's get positioned in the middle. That's what we're looking for. Love it when a plan comes together, don't we? Okay, we've got them sufficiently low enough. Let's just go ahead and hack our way through here. Chaos Sword wreaking all kinds of chaos with the Dark Stalkers. Final portal coming up. And it's a Grandon. What a fantastic way to finish, and what a great way to start the end with a 600-point critical. Just power right through the beast, and as it falls at our feet, we have nothing to do but advance to the statue room. Prizes for this little tour de sword will be a wolf crest, a rainbow card, and a recovery drink. So there it is, every sword in my collection as of October 2021. I do hope you've enjoyed this special little detour in the Weekend Warrior series and just a chance to celebrate finery, pokey, stabby things. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming, hoping you're doing well wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Take care, and we'll see you around.